is time for a brand new segment here on BT called From Grape to Glass. We want to talk about something that a lot of people enjoy, and that is wine. We're going to be covering it extensively over the next little while. But today, we're talking about something that probably stresses you out if you're anything like me, and that's ordering wine at a restaurant. Can get a little freaky. So here... So you get table win. Do you choke under pressure and simply say, I'll have a glass of the house wine? Well, picking the perfect wine does not have to be such a nerve-wracking experience. Shawn Brandson from Provence Bistro is here to give us some tips. All right, Shawn, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Great, thank you.
I love our little mock setup of the Provence Bistro.
Yeah.
And wine can be extremely intimidating, but especially for the common guy like myself. I know a Cabernet, I like a Cabernet, but if you gave me a wine list, but by the way, yours is so extensive, it's incredible, but it can be intimidating.
It can be. I mean, dining experience is about relaxing and things like that, but I mean, it can be a scary situation. I mean, let me paint you a picture. You know, you're brought into a restaurant, you're seated by an employee, you sit down, you're kind of getting your bearings, and next thing you know, over your shoulder, bam, the big wine list, the 20-pound thing in your hand, it can be quite intimidating. I mean, what happens if you're entertaining clients, you're choosing the wrong wine, what do you do?
Impress a date.
Absolutely.
Yes, there you go.
It's it can be a little intimidating. So and it feels like the whole world is upon you. Everyone's there waiting on bated breath to see what you're going to order. It can be quite intimidating.
Sure, no kidding. So what can we do? I mean, you don't look foolish, obviously, and you don't want to, and that can be done by acting like you know what you're doing. So if you don't know, you don't know. And so what do we do? What are some of the things we can do to bring the situation down to a comfortable level?
Well, a couple of things is that first thing you need to do is take a breath and relax.
Okay.
I mean,
Take a
so
breath.
that's the first thing. Usually nobody gets hurt in the process of things, but it doesn't have to be that intimidating. You can ask fellow diners, what they'd like. Okay. But it's not that bad, and we have there's a few tips that we can go over.
Should you pass the wine list around? I mean, is that a good idea? Or?
Key thing is that now, when you have the wine list, you have the power. Don't give up the wine list.
Don't give it up.
No,
okay.
don't.
Don't
I mean,
give it up,
you have
right?
it. You've been chosen. You have the fortunate opportunity to make a great experience. And I mean, don't give it away. I mean, think of Lord of the Flies and Piggy. When he gave away the conch, what happened to him? It didn't work out so well.
Wasn't a good scene at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, don't give it away and peruse it. Maybe. I'm thinking maybe just. Do you get up and go ask the wine steward, the waiter?
Right. Yeah, I mean, some restaurants, they have a wine steward. In my restaurant, a lot of the servers are very knowledgeable about wine, but you never know what that level is. So,
right,
certainly, just like when I go into a restaurant, I'll open up the menu and I'll say, well, what do you think about this one or this one, and ask the server.
Okay.
Different servers have different abilities. If you give it a line like, oh, everything is good on the wine list, just ignore them. Don't even talk to them, and make your decision for yourself.
All right. Well, can you do that inconspicuously? I mean, how do you do that without as far as asking the waiter?
Right. I mean, one of the things that you can do, I got a wine list right here, is that once you have the power and you have the conch and everyone's waiting on bated breath, you can always take a look at the wine list and then use your fingers. So the server can come over to the side. You're looking at here and use your finger. You don't have to say, well, what do you think about the Burgundy for $120? The server's going to go, well, that's great. You can point to the Burgundy. What do you think about something like this? Okay. Or point to the $35 range, and then that'll help them make some decisions.
All right, hold that thought. Yep. We have more tips for the folks out there that'll help make it easy for you when you check out that wine list. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a little break. We're back with more right after this. I could get used to this, sitting at a nice little bistro. Shawn, what do you think? Yeah.
Sitting here watching the world go by and watching the film filming of the show.
Very nice.
There it is.
So Shawn Brandson, of course, from Provence Bistro over there in Niakwa. Beautiful place. Great location. Right on the golf course there.
Yeah.
You're going to be helping us out over the next while talking about wines. We're talking about ordering it in a restaurant, because when you get a wine list that is this extensive, I mean, or any wine list really, if you don't know much about it, it can get embarrassing, or you can make a mistake. And you had some great tips. Let's just pick up where we left off.
Yeah, I was just to to elaborate on the server helping you and pointing. I mean, you can point to the different wines and sort of, let them know what direction you want to go for grape varietal and stuff like that.
Right.
Also, beware. Don't start announcing the price of wine, saying, "Oh, how about a $20 bottle of wine or a $30, a $25 wine."
To make you not look, I don't want to use cheap, but I mean, announcing the price is not a good idea.
Use a pointing method. Point to the $20 bottle of wine. Don't say it. Just say, I want something inexpensive. I want something. John's only worth $20. He's not worth the $100 bottle of wine.
What have you heard?
I'll save that when someone important comes. But I mean, that's important. Just talk about grapes and stuff like that and point to it. Also, although you're not supposed to give up the conch, don't give up the wine list. And now, give a little bit of the group group effort and ask, what do you think about an Australian Shiraz?
Okay.
See how the reactions are. That way, you've consulted the group, and they can't lynch you totally for making the wrong decision. All right,
going into picking a wine, I know we're going to touch on this down the road, but I just want to briefly mention how much of it depends on what you're eating.
Well, a lot of it does, but it's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
I do wine dinners where we have food and wine paired, second Thursday of each month. But I mean, just the thing is, buy something that you like, and you enjoy, and that's why. How about an Australian Shiraz? Because even though Pinot Noir works with duck, and you're ordering duck, if you don't like Pinot Noir, it's not a good match.
See, I had no idea that Pinot Noir went with duck. I'm learning something already.
Well, we'll talk about it in other segments.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
During the break, I just played devil's advocate here. Say you get your wine to your table, and you taste it after going through the decision process, and maybe taking the advice of the waiter, right?
Yep.
And you don't like it. What is the protocol there?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is if you don't like it, it depends if you don't like it or if there's flaws in the wine. So, I mean, if you don't like it, generally, you can return it. Someone will drink it at the end of we're in the restaurant industry, so that happens. But I mean, a flawed wine, it should be returned.
Well, what is a flawed wine?
A flawed wine, there's different flaws. One is maturation, where it tastes musty and old and tastes like it's been left out in the sun. There's also sulfur problems in wine, which is the most common problem, which you smell it smells like burnt matches.
Okay.
A bad wine usually smells like moldy newspapers left down in the basement. So those kind of three things, those are the three flaws. Maybe it hasn't been stored properly, but also these are unique individuals. Each bottle is different with its own characteristics. So send it back and order something new. But usually change the wine. Try something different. Don't go back to that same moldy style wine. Choose something fresher.
You don't shoot yourself twice in the foot, right?
Yeah.
But so that's not considered rude to send it back?
Not really. I mean, it's certainly very rude to say, "Wow, this wine is great. $300. I've always wanted to try it."
Right.
You try it, and then you go, "Okay, I've tried it. Now I can mark that off my list." That's rude. But I mean, if you're really not enjoying it, or you think that there's a flaw in it, you can return it, and endeavor, usually the restaurant will either take a loss or be able to return it to the Liquor Commission.
Spillage.
Yeah, spillage happens sometimes.
It does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Real quick, you touched on it briefly. $300 bottle of wine. Just because the wine's more expensive does not necessarily make it a better wine. Is that?
Not necessarily. Yeah, it doesn't make it better. I mean, the thing is that sometimes you're paying for the cachet. Sometimes you're paying for the name. Sometimes certain wine regions, there's only X amount made, and it's a small amount. They're able to. It's supply and demand. If you're growing wines in a small little area, then that's fine. You can charge more, but if it's a large, vast area where you're just like the wheat fields of Manitoba, you can charge a little less.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, where can they find a Provence? And also, you're having a great Easter brunch happening this weekend.
Yeah, all the information is at our website, provencebistro.com. You can sign up and onto Twitter with us and Facebook and all those things.
Wow.
Right on our website, provencebistro.com.
And there will be a link at breakfasttelevision.ca as well to get all that information. Well, Shawn, thank you very much for popping by.
Yeah, cheers.
Skål! We'll have more right
Thank
after
you.
this. It's time for a little sports information for you.